Hey guys, this is the No Face Lego guy. Um, Shane asked me to do some Lego content because I have a lot of experience in Amazon and Walmart and Lego investing. I'm not gonna do too much specifically on Lego, but I want to touch upon a few things that I've noticed just in my years of reselling, either just by observation, conversations on Facebook and whatnot. Um, One of the things that I see a lot of people doing is obsessing over the cost of shipping supplies. Lego people in general, even myself included, seem to be, you know, they're very, very price conscious. I bought things on Bricklink. I mean, people reuse the Lego bags. Now that could also be, they're trying to go green and not be wasteful. Um, but even just the packaging I see people using, you know, they're it's like they're rationing their shipping supplies, which is fine as long as you're using enough. Use whatever you want as long as the stuff arrives safe. That's fine on Bricklink. On Amazon, you need to look professional. Um, by that, I mean you really can't reuse boxes if you're shipping to customers. If you ship an FBA, as long as it's less than 25 inches on one side and less than 50 pounds, or no, 50 pounds, you need stickers. Team lift stickers. I forget what the limit is. It might be like 70 pounds. They don't want things over 70 unless it's being shipped LTL. Um, but I see people just obsessing over, it's like they're hoarding boxes. Oh, I found this deal at Staples. I found this deal at Walmart. This place has the best deal. Well, I'm going to tell you that your time is worth money. Quality is worth money. Convenience is worth money. And while lots of people are going to argue with me on this, Uline is actually a decent option. You can get just about any specific box you want from them. There's a few sizes where I'm like, I wonder why they don't sell that. Um, Not necessarily for Lego, but for the things that I've had. I've had to sort of buy something too big than what I wanted, but that's besides the point. For me, and this may be different depending on where you live, but they have warehouses all over the country. You get 1 day ground shipping. The only thing I've noticed is they're not exactly efficient on their shipping costs. I think they might be pocketing some of it because I'm like, okay, I'm like 400 miles away. It's almost anything under 14 inches should not be more than like $15. I mean, I can ship to customers to their state and it would be cheaper. That aside, they have quality boxes. I can get them in 1 day. What that means is in Q4, when I run out of my cheap boxes that I bought from joeboxes.com or wherever, right? Because it was cheap, I can get them in 1 day. They don't go out of stock. I've never seen boxes or anything on Uline go out of stock. I can get as many as I want. I can get any size I want. Okay? That means a lot in Q4. You're going to run out of boxes. Staples is going to run out of boxes. Okay? The boxes that you would ship one Lego set in if you're merchant fulfilling, which is what you're going to be doing in December after, say, you know, December 5th. There's no point in sending it into FBA unless you're trying to capture after Christmas traffic with gift cards, which is definitely possible. But for me, really after like December 1st, I'm merchant fulfilling at that point. Everything else has been sent in. You know, I've kept things back that haven't don't look like they're going to peak in price, but they might. And you know, my point is, don't worry so much about the cost in boxes. I'll give you an example. So let's say you can buy 100 boxes um, for, I don't know, 70 cents a piece. Okay? 100 boxes, 70 cents a piece. That's $70. Let's say they charge you $30 to ship that. That's $100 for 100 specific size boxes. Ones that you don't have to do any work to. Okay? We're talking about put the Lego box in, put minimal packing in, and the box won't and the Lego set will be fairly secure. It's not going to bounce around. You don't have to cut it down. And you're going to save on the shipping cost because you've got it in an optimal size box. Let's say you're selling your Lego set for $50. Okay? Let's say 35. So it's a smaller, it's a dollar size, it's a 70 cents box. I want to be realistic here, right? You're only losing, somebody goes, oh, they charged me $30 shipping. Or, oh, the box was 70 cents. Try to go to Walmart, okay, and find a box that fits your Lego set. We're talking about $1 loss here, right? A $1 cost on a $50 set. So you're going to, I'm not going to do the math here. I'm going to say, $35 is your take home, right? Whatever you paid for the Lego set minus the $35 is your profit, okay? Actually, it would be less than that. If you're merchant fulfilling, it's about, about 12% Amazon fees, give or take, 13. It's very similar to eBay. Then you got your shipping, but whatever. $1. You're going to hate yourself when you're trying to drive around looking for a box for a Lego set that you have to ship. Now, let me give you a scenario. You generally have to ship within, the next day, okay? Let's say you sell something at 7 o'clock at night. You go, oh, shit, I don't have a box for this, right? I shouldn't say 7. Let's say 5. You have to order from Uline by 6 p.m. I'm going to get the box the next day. That means if I'm out of stock on boxes, I can order it and still ship it out on time the next day. Or very close to it. I'll print off the label, right? And I'll get to my UPS store before they close, more than likely, because that box is going to get delivered before 5 o'clock. And in most cases, my stuff shows up all times of the day, but I don't usually get deliveries that late. They'll pick my stuff up late because I'm filling up their truck, so they try to do all their deliveries and then come back. But even if it's the next day, you can squeeze by with that. If you've printed the label, you're really not going to get dinged unless it's not shipped the next day. At least that's my experience, because Amazon knows not everything gets scanned. But they know in 2 days it's going to get scanned because it's going to get on a truck, it's going to hit a hub, and it should have either been scanned on the truck or scanned in the hub. I feel as though you kind of get the benefit of the doubt on missing by the deadline by about 1 day. They're not going to ding you unless it doesn't get scanned in by say the next 12 to 24 hours. I'm sure people will argue with me that, but I've shipped thousands and thousands of things throughout the year, merchant fulfilled. I have a private label product that I ship thousands in a month. So I'll get a late shipment ding, which is basically UPS not delivering on time, but I never get anything saying that I shipped it late, unless it's just full. Occasionally something slips by somehow, and maybe I printed the label and I dropped it on the ground and I didn't ship the box. That happens to everybody. I've left things in my van. It was a smaller item. It kind of got tucked under something. I found something the other day from May. It was kind of funny. I was like, oh, well, that person never even complained. So don't obsess over your shipping costs. You got to be smart about it. But losing $1 on a Lego set, small potatoes. Because your time is worth money. Driving your car around is worth money. Driving your car around looking for boxes takes you away from sourcing, right? There's a lot of opportunity in November and December to buy stuff from Walmart and ship it to the customer, because Amazon will be out of stock, right? It's not optimal. You're not going to get 2x your money, but you can buy something for $30 and sell it for $60 and make $10 to $15, and you do that a whole bunch of times, I mean, you're doing pretty well, especially if you're already selling on Amazon. Couple other things, some recommendations. If you're going to be doing any sort of volume, merchant fulfilling, and this will help you with your FBA shipments. I ship stuff into FBA almost every day, all year round. So this makes sense for me. I do a lot of high volume merchant fulfilling for that private label product in the spring, and then a lot in Q4. Consider getting a gum tape paper dispenser. Okay, get one used. Go on eBay, buy one used. Okay, they're like anywhere from $700 to $1,000 new, maybe $700 to like $1,200. You can usually get one for $300. I actually just bought an automatic one from eBay for $350, which I thought was an amazing deal because I think I paid about $300 for my manual one, and even that was a good deal. The manual one requires you to pull a lever down every time you want a piece of tape. You take the tape, put it on the box, pull the lever down again. That's great. The only thing is, the paper it moves. The dispenser will move. It has some rubber feet. It has some weight to it. But you pull that lever down 50 times, the thing is shifting around. Now you're having to put your other hand on it to hold it and do that. I feel like it slows me down when I'm going fast because that means I need to stand square in front of the machine to get the piece of tape. Right? We all know when we're packing boxes that we're, holding the box, maybe holding the flap shut, whatever. I'm not standing square in front of this machine. I might be over here and pulling the lever down. Now I have to take my other hand, let go of the box, hold the lever down. It's annoying. So I've packed tens of thousands of boxes with it. Even used, it was heavily used when I got it. I asked the guy, how often you use this? He goes, every day for years. I'm like, okay. I was a little like, oh no. I mean, I was in a parking lot like 50 miles from my house picking this up. I got it home. Thing works like a charm. There are people on eBay that will repair it for you, but there's not a whole lot to it. There's like a rubber wheel that grabs the tape, right? You have the lever mechanism pulling it down, and you have a cutter, which don't put your finger in there because it will cut your finger off. It's like a guillotine. Anyways, that thing, worth its weight in gold. I feel as though I save money on tape because I don't have to use that much tape. One piece of tape each side of the box. You're good. Even heavy stuff, would I ship a 50-pound box with it with one piece of tape on each flap? No. Would I, a 10-pound box? Absolutely. Every time. No problems. Thousands of boxes. Thousands of FBA shipments. Definitely recommend that. The other thing, you are clear tape has its place in Amazon. You're either going to need it. I use it if I'm reusing a box. I feel as though the gum paper tape doesn't do as well taping itself to tape that already exists, right? Because sometimes that box has been hanging around, the glue has been got a little bit loose on the first piece of tape that's stuck to the box. Now you're putting another piece of tape on top of that. If the first tape starts to let go, you sort of compromise the box a little bit. It is what it is. So I always keep, the good old plastic clear tape around. Sometimes it's good. Like if you're prepping things with poly bags and you want to neaten it up a little bit, it's good for that. Sometimes I use it to sort of reinforce bubble mailers. If I'm shipping something heavy that's sort of indestructible, like just say you're shipping like something that's heavy and metal that won't break, but you don't want the package to fall apart or whatever, I'll line the package with that. But anyways, important thing about the gum paper tape, your boxes need to be dry. Okay, dry. You need to have a dry space to store the boxes in. Even the plastic tape, same thing. If that box has absorbed moisture, the tape's not going to stick to it. It took me forever to figure this out. I thought that I was buying lousy tape. I was buying 3M packing tape, which is like top of the line. There really isn't anything better than that unless you're buying like industrial strength clear tape, which I don't even it doesn't really exist. It's expensive, and it wasn't, and the tape would let go. I'm like, why is the tape coming off this box? I don't understand it. And somebody finally told me, oh yeah, you have to have your boxes stored in a dry area. So don't keep them in your garage unless you're running a dehumidifier, right? Folks out in Arizona, maybe they don't have this problem, but anyone that has any sort of humidity in the air is gonna they're gonna have a problem. It makes a world of difference. I have a lot of stuff that sits on my porch, which is outside. Usually, what I do is if I get a shipment of boxes, those are coming in before the product is. Honestly, like I mean, I'm 500 feet from the street, so nobody's stealing anything off my front porch. But those boxes have got to be dry, or they're just very irritating. You'll be like, I just taped this box. Why does this look like this is coming open? Anyways, so yeah, definitely invest in a dehumidifier or find a place in your house that's dry. I generally like a living space is going to be pretty dry. If it's heated or air conditioned, it should be acceptable. Your basement, your attic, your garage, a 3-season porch are probably not good, or sheds are not good storage areas for shipping boxes. I keep Lego in my garage. It's a little moist. Not a huge deal. I think it's in that area where the Lego sets do okay, but shipping boxes absorb some moisture, and they're not good to ship. The thing with boxes is I think as soon as you put them in a dry space, the dry air will suck the moisture out of it. That's probably not optimal for Lego sets, but it kind of is what it is. These things are going on trucks. They're going in warehouses. They're going in people's houses. Like I've never had one deteriorate from being stored in my garage. Granted, the garage is insulated, not heated, not air conditioned. I would have concerns with storing them in a shed. Because sheds get really, really hot, really, really cold. They get moist. They can also get very dry, I suppose. That kind of stuff. The real, real hot freaks me out a little bit. I feel like that's going to heat up the adhesive. The cold, I think, could actually damage the plastic. I don't know. I've never done any tests, but I don't think you want to, put your Lego sets in the freezer, take them out, and then play with them. You're probably going to crack the plastic. So I didn't intend to talk about storage, but I guess it just kind of came up because I'm storing boxes and Lego sometimes in the same place. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in terms of shipping. Okay, craft paper rolls. The stuff you see in Walmart boxes. That stuff is gold. I see all kinds of people. I bubble wrap this. Listen, I don't bubble wrap anything if I think it's going to be a Christmas present. Okay? Because Amazon doesn't bubble wrap it. If you order Millennium Falcon from Amazon, they're not going to bubble wrap it for you. You order a Jurassic Park set that's $100, they're not going to bubble wrap it. You buy the Elf Clubhouse from them, not going to bubble wrap it. Okay? So my standards are no higher than Amazon's. If I was shipping something that was collectible, something that I felt, okay, I'm pretty sure grandma's not buying this for Timmy for Christmas. This may be somebody's, at the most it's probably somebody's wife buying it for their husband, or it could be their son, and it was highly collectible. It was expensive. It was a $300 set that was $100 retail. I might consider bubble wrapping those. I think it depends on the type of box it's in. Like a Creeper Mine box, those are pretty sturdy. That's a sturdy box. If you pack that decent, shipping that to FBA, I think you'll be okay with that. If you have smaller sets like a battle pack, the current speed champions, once those start going up over 3 times value or numbers that I don't feel comfortable refunding people out of my pocket, then I would consider start bubble wrapping things. I don't generally have anything that long. I have some holiday trains that I'm going to consider bubble wrapping because they're up to about $350. Original cost was $100. If that gets damaged and I don't get and the insurance for whatever reason isn't covering it, I really don't want to shell out $200 on top of my cost to refund the buyer. It's not happening, right? It might also be a fight with an insurance company too. They may only want to refund me what I paid for it. Um, so, but if it was a creeper mine like this Christmas and it's selling for 170, I'm not bubble wrapping that. It's, you know, it's more than likely a Christmas present. They would have ordered it from Amazon if they didn't order it from me. So I don't do too much with bubble wrap. I mean, I do. If I'm shipping something not Lego related, um, then sometimes bubble wrap is required. It's a breakable item, right? The item itself. Like Legos are not going to break. The box will get damaged. If you're shipping, you know, a glass candle or something, right? You're going to have to bubble wrap that because the item, the candle, the glass candle holder itself might break in shipping, right? I mean, I've never gotten a return where I shipped something that was breakable and the packaging got damaged and somebody complained the packaging got damaged. I mean, I'm not selling any antique things that come in packaging where the packaging matters, but the packaging, if it's not collectible, is not that important. It's the item itself. The other thing, now, if you're gonna do bubble wrap, I think there's a misconception that the big bubble wrap is going to protect your item better than the smaller bubble wrap. The large bubbles, the huge ones, the big ones, those are space consumers. Okay? They're there to take up space in the box. So the item itself doesn't move around. It's not going to do a good job at protecting the item from, being dropped. It's going to keep it secure in the box, but if the item itself could get damaged from going like this, that's where it's going to help it. It's not going to help it if you smash the side of the box. It's just going to pop, right? I mean, they're the easiest ones to pop. The biggest air pillows, bubble wrap, those are the easiest to pop. Try to pop the small ones. Not so easy, right? The small ones are meant to protect the item. Okay, the big ones, the big bubble wrap, is meant to keep it from moving around. Can't think of the term right now for some reason. There's a term. Void filler. It's a void filler. The big bubble wrap. Same thing as ear pillows. Does the same thing. The ear pillows aren't going to protect anything. It just keeps the item from bouncing around. So with Lego, I would actually say use the small bubble wrap for Lego, and if you need space void, you can use bubble wrap, but that's very expensive. Craft paper rolls. It's you can buy it at I think about 500 feet for I don't know $30, maybe less. You're honestly less. It's just shipping. Shipping ads, like if you buy it from Uline, it might be cheap and then you have to ship it. If you buy it from Amazon, it might be free shipping for about $30. It averages $35, I think. It is. I have 3 rolls of it right now. And I always sort of have an extra one. When I start cutting into one, I buy another one. That way I'm not wasting any time. It's, it's just extremely cheap for what it does. It's great. That is great for shipping newly retired sets or current production sets where the condition is not 100% required. Right? It doesn't need to be a Gem Mint 10. Anything over 6 or 7, nobody's gonna complain about. You start getting Um, smashed in boxes, crushed, missing seals, ripped box art. That's where you're going to start getting into, you know, um, not so great reviews from customers. Um, but none of that stuff really happens if you're using craft paper, because the box itself is not going to move around. The last thing in terms of, well, I guess I'll go into a little bit of shipping too. Amazon shipping is probably the best thing you're going to be able to find. Their merchant fulfilled rates. Um, One thing I've noticed, and somebody else that's been doing this a lot longer than me told me about this. Amazon insurance. I don't know what it is. I think if UPS or the post office sees that it's insured by Amazon, that package gets delivered. I don't know what it is. I used to ship everything with stamps.com, with my private label, and I would lose packages all the time because I was shipping thousands, right? So a certain percentage of them disappear. You know, that's a lot of packages. I say a lot. 1,000 and you're missing five. Five sucks because you're like, that's five refunds you're processing, right? As soon as I switched to Amazon and started paying for that little insurance, which is crazy cheap, it's cheaper than anybody. I mean, I think if you're shipping something that's like first class, like a $20 item, it's like 30 cents to insure it. Or it's either 30 or 70. It's some number that I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll pay for it. No problem, right? Even something that's expensive, it might be $3 or $4. Totally worth it. $100 item, I don't have to worry about it. $4, take my money, right? I don't really remember ever putting in a claim. They are always delivered. Um, I have a feeling that Amazon probably has some contract with the post office and UPS, and they're probably, paying a penalty for lost packages. So I think they're paying attention. Um, there's no other explanation. Why is Amazon special? If I buy it through eBay or PayPal, I lose packages. If I buy it from stamps.com, I lose packages. If I buy it from Amazon, don't lose any packages. Um, so definitely do that. The rates are good. I don't think you're going to be able to negotiate rates lower than them. Um, you have to be doing significant volume and significant thousands of packages a month, on a monthly basis, not just Q4. So that's definitely a good deal. Get yourself a thermal printer. I know Rollo is the big one these days. I don't have one. Um, I don't particularly like the fact that the labels are behind the label printer. That takes up space. But I've heard great things about that. You can get the labels free from UPS if you have a UPS account. You can get Zebra printer thermal labels for free from UPS. Um, they only ship you, okay. So with the Rollo labels, they'll ship you a large quantity. It's like a big box, a big stack of labels. It's probably, I'd have to check. I think it's like 1,000 labels in one order. Might even be more than that. The rolls are only about 300. Comes in like if anybody knows what the old Zebra thermal labels are, it just comes in a roll. Looks like calculator tape except bigger. Um, and so that's free. Use it for your UPS labels to ship to customers. Use it for Amazon FBA labels if you're using it for UPS. I try not to use it with the post office, but the truth is, they're in my printer. I'm not going to take them out and switch out generic ones because I'm shipping one first class label. You know, it is what it is. When I'm doing my private label and I'm using a lot of post office, yeah, I will switch it out for generic because I don't think it's fair that I'm shipping thousands of packages with somebody else's label. But if every fifth label you're doing is the post office, just use it. They don't care. UPS isn't going to care as long as they see that you're shipping packages. I mean, even with Amazon FBA, you're using two labels. You're using one for the UPS package and one for the Amazon label itself. So you're sort of wasting it there. I mean, I think they're aware of that. They don't care. They're still making their money. Um, so I think it's a Zebra LP2844. That's a pretty good printer. Get them on eBay. Look for a seller that it sells a lot of them, right? Don't go buy somebody's used one. Go buy the guy that refurbishes it. I've had no problem. I've had mine for years. I have no problems. I've never done anything to it. I believe the only thing you'll ever really have to do to it is possibly the print head, and I believe that that's like, a $10 part, and you can install it yourself. But there's also people on eBay that will refurbish it, or you could just chuck it and buy a new one. I really wouldn't buy new, not on a Zebra printer. If you're gonna buy a Rollo, that may be your only option because they just haven't been around that long. Um, One thing you'll notice with those is being wireless is a challenge. Um, I've tried to use a like a network printer plug-in, so it should let the item be wireless. I'm a pretty technical guy, and that was challenging. I gave up. I think it was going to start requiring me to buy another router and all this other business. The easiest thing I figured out to do: buy a cheap laptop, buy like a used ThinkPad from eBay for $150, right? Put it next to the printer, right? Plug the printer into it. Plug your Dymo label printer into it, and use remote desktop on Windows. So if you want to sit on your couch and print stuff out, you want to sit in your workspace and print stuff out, and you want to be wireless, that's cheap and easy. I can print labels when I'm not even home. If I sold something and I want my wife to ship it, you know, I can print the label while I'm on the fly. Just as long as I have my laptop with me, that other laptop is pretty much always on. Um, that's a cheap and easy way to do it. Because the laptop that you're printing on really doesn't have to do anything. It has to basically have a web browser, internet access. You're not doing anything sophisticated. Um, anyways, I think I'm going to leave. This went a lot longer than I thought it was going to. I'm going to leave this here, and I'll try to think of some more topics for Shane's group, and I could talk for days, so I'll leave this here. Thanks, guys. Take care.